To another edition of IUP Hawk Talk. We're coming to you live from the C.H. Fields Craft Kitchen here at the Hilton Garden Inn. Jack Benedict here with Coach Paul Tortorella. We have Hilton Ridley coming along a little bit later on after his performance on Saturday. And we're glad to have you with us. We're on U92radio.com, and then you'll be able to pick us up also on U92 Facebook page. 22-21. IUP comes away with a victory over Cal. Maybe you saw it, heard it, were there, or maybe all of the above, but in any event, it was some kind of a game. And Coach, got to ask you first of all the years you've been coaching, have you ever been involved in a finish like that?
No. I believe they said there was an NFL game 2 years ago that ended like that. We knew the rule, so when the flag came out and they tried to spike and they spiked it, we knew the rule was the 10-second runoff because they didn't have any timeouts left. Mm-hmm. So we knew what happened. The thing that I was upset about is they got like 21 more seconds than they really should have with the mismanagement of the clock by the officials, which is totally unacceptable. And, that's a whole different story, and I'm not going to get into that, but that's just bad. That's bad.
Well, for the fans that didn't know, they went from, if I remember, 134.
Correct.
And then they went back to 119, and then they brought it up to 127.
Well, here, to set the record straight, here's what should have happened.
Okay. We
catch the ball, and I'm glad we don't score the touchdown, because it almost looks like we score a touchdown, because I said, now we're going to at least run off 25 more seconds of this clock. I knew they were going to get the ball back. And so at 134, somehow the official tells the referee that we were out of bounds and the clock should stop. So there's the first mistake. So if they handle it the way it should have been handled, it's a simple procedure that they do the whole game. It's a catch, it's a first down, the clock stops. They restart the clock at 134. We have a 25-second clock. We'll run it down to 2 seconds, which is 23 seconds. We ran a play that took 4 seconds, so it's simple math. Take 27 from 134. They should have had 107. Instead, they had 127. Mm-hmm. Well, I was told we ran the play too fast, okay? So, to make a long story short, they got 20 more seconds than they should have had.
They should have had, but yeah.
And that's a major difference in that situation.
I'm sure the home office has heard about that. In any event, we have the last segment here, and for our fans and for us here up on the monitor of when Mitchell is going back to pass, and here's the catch made, and at the 15-yard line, and we'll run this whole sequence down through. So they hustle back. The movement is the wide out on the far end.
Well, first, I'm standing right there. First off, the wide out was off. He was offsides.
He was in the neutral zone.
Yeah, he was like a yard. If you look at everybody, he's a half yard ahead of everybody, so he's offside. He finally notices it, and when they go to spike the ball, he moves back as they're spiking the ball. So, I mean, it was an easy call. I mean, you get in those situations. The crazy thing about it, you can line up anywhere and spike the ball. You don't even have to have the normal number of players on the line. It doesn't matter.
Just anywhere.
You can line up anywhere, but you obviously can't be moving before the ball's.
Here's where we're running it again. And so the outside.
See how far up he is?
Yeah.
And then he tries to scoot back as they did it.
And he went to the official right away. And,
it was clear as day. And right when it happened, we knew on our sideline, we knew what the situation was.
Well, it was a no-brainer. The only thing is, after you described of what happened earlier with all the second situation, you never know. But there you go, and there's the call, and the game is over. And you win it 22-21 to stay undefeated. Cal drops to 3-3. Well, what last year sounded like with the last 11 seconds.
Right.
These last 2 years with California have just been unbelievable. You talked with the team last week, I believe. I had kind of eavesdropped in practice one day or whatever. Like, adversity is going to happen. Of course, that's something you could use at every game. But we're pretty resilient, and you had to be that day, and you were. I mean, you got behind. It was 7-3 at halftime.
There's a point in the game, I believe 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. We're losing 14-3. They have the ball 1st and 10 on our 49-yard line to start a drive. We had just gotten sacked. The momentum was totally against us. We got a 3-and-out, which was huge. We got the ball back. We went 88 yards in 6 plays, got it to 4. Mm-hmm. Then we didn't get it done on defense. They went back up by 11. And then from that point on, we played really well on both sides of the ball. But there were 2 situations. We converted a 3rd and 12 on one of the drives that we scored. And at the end there, it's 4th and 4 on that pass we complete down to the goal line. There was a big 3rd and 12 play the series before that where we hit Dwayne Brown on an in route on 3rd and 12 for a first down. So it wasn't like just easily, done. I mean, we had some 3rd down and longs we had to convert. We had a 4th and 4 at the end. Because if we don't make it there, we're thinking we have 2 timeouts. There's a minute 39. We'll be able to stop it twice. We'll try to block a punt. We might get the ball back with 28 seconds, somewhere around there. But we got to score a touchdown to win. So we had to make that first down on 4th down.
So, so as you said, it wasn't something that just happened. It was that type of an afternoon, at least for 3 quarters, where it was like spinning your wheels until it finally came up. Now, you solidified it in the 4th quarter, of course, and played great. Shut them out. And you got to give a lot of credit to everybody there.
Well, we outscored them 2 touchdowns to 0 in the 4th quarter. Offensively, we scored 3 touchdowns on our last 4 possessions. In the 4th possession that we got stopped on downs on their 32-yard line. But we should have had at least 17 points at halftime, minimum. We're down on the 4-yard line, 1st and goal. We got to kick a field goal. We fumbled on the 9 going in 1st and goal. We had a sudden change after Darius Bruce's interception where we had 1st and 10 on their 30-yard line, and we got stopped on downs. So, when you look at it, we probably should have had at least 17, 14 points in the first at halftime. Defensively, we gave up 7, but it really should only been 3. We had a stupid penalty that cost us a touchdown where they would have had to kick the field goal, and we're going to say the guy's going to make it. It would have been a 34-yarder.
That was a necessary penalty.
Unnecessary. And there was a lot of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But that's no excuse. And, especially before that play with their sideline, Taylor's a former Cal player. No excuse. He knows it. He knew it after he did it. And he played a great game from that point on. And he just let his emotions get the best of him. But we're going to say, okay, the guy's going to make a 34-yard field goal. We're going to give up 3 points there, and we're going to go on our way. So the fact of the matter is you go in at halftime and you're losing 7-3. You can't go in there and say, well, we should be winning 17-3 and this, that, and the other. We just said, hey, we got to maximize our opportunities on offense. The whole game was played on their end of the field when we had the ball on offense. We only had 2 3-and-outs that we were on our side of the field. Other than that, our whole offensive game is on their side of the 50. And we got to maximize those opportunities. We left at least 14 points out there.
So that pretty much was your, what should I say, preaching at the halftime?
Well, I said we're the better team. All you got to do is watch the first half. We're the better team. They only had 98 yards in the first half. We had like 180. We fumbled on the 9 going in. So Jackson, we had shut down. He had caught 1 pass by halftime. He only had one catch. So I said, we're the better team. We just got to go out and play a better second half, maximize our opportunities on offense, and play consistently on defense. We were up and down defensively. The third quarter, we didn't play great, but we did make the stop that was crucial when we were down 14-3 and had the ball 1st and 10 on our 48-yard line after a short punt. And they had all kind of momentum. So there's probably 5 or 6 instances in that game where we just totally had our backs to the wall and we totally shifted the momentum. And this team finds a way to do that. In the first 5 games that we've played, they do a really good job of stemming the tide, and when the momentum is against us, we kind of get it back, because it's hard to do.
Is that what you've referred to before as some of the similarities with the 2017 team?
Yes, I did mention that. The 2017 team was very much like that. And we got a ways to go. But if you look at all 5 of our games, every time adversity hit, we responded. Slippery rock, we started drive on our own 6-yard line. They cut it to 8. There's 8 minutes to go in the game, and we drive 60 yards and end up punting and giving them the ball on the 20-yard line. I talked about that last week. Saturday, there's 4, 5, 6 instances during the game. If we don't do it, we're not going to win that game in those instances. East Stroudsburg, same thing late in the game in the fourth quarter. We had to stop them 2 series at the end. We got 2 3-and-outs. We scored a touchdown, and then we kicked a field goal on the last play of the game to win it. Shippensburg, we kind of had our way. But then again, Shippensburg, we throw a pick for a touchdown, they run it back. They cut the lead to whatever it was. We take the ball the very next series, and we go 80 yards and score a touchdown.
Change it.
And then we get a safety on defense after that. Mercyhurst, same thing. We throw 2 interceptions, and they get the ball on our side of the 50 both times, and we go out and stop them on defense and 2 sudden changes.
Amazing. That's every game.
Well, it's happened every game. So hopefully, you got to find ways to win. It'd be great to go out there, like I tell our team. Like, if on offense, if we scored every time we had the ball, we're kidding ourselves. Don't think that's going to happen. On defense, don't think we're going to go out there and stop them every series either. But there are certain times in a game where you have got to win that battle, and we've done that here the first 5 games of the year.
Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take our first break, and you mentioned about shifting momentum and so on. The interception by Darius Bruce was something to behold. We're going to show that too. So we'll be back in a moment. This is Hawk Talk. We do this every Monday night between 6 and 7 o'clock. We come to you live from the beautiful Hilton Garden Inn with Coach Tortorella, and Hilton Ridley will be along in just a little while. So we'll return. We're coming your way on U92radio.com. You can check us out on the U92 Facebook page.
C.H. Field's Craft Kitchen in the Hilton Garden Inn is this area's best-kept secret. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, dinner, happy hour, or for their post-game specials. Make your reservations for C.H. Field's Craft Kitchen in the Hilton Garden Inn at chfields.com. The Hilton Garden Inn is the preferred hotel of IUP Athletics, located next to Miller Stadium and the KCAC. The Hilton Garden Inn is Indiana's newest and best hotel. Make your reservations today at hiltongardeninn.com.
Come join us in celebrating our grandfather Red Dowd's induction into the Indiana County Business Hall of Fame.
To celebrate, we can't think of anything better than to combine 2 of Dowd's most popular sales.
To honor his legacy and celebrate our 72nd anniversary, we're offering up to 72% off selected floor sample clearance items. Plus, save on all custom orders with every other item up to 1/2 off.
Come celebrate with us, Dowd's of Plumville and Dowd's of Greensburg.
Welcome back, everyone. Here we are with Hawk Talk, coming your way live from the Hilton Garden Inn with Coach Paul Tortorella. I have some questions coming up, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But we had talked about shifts in momentum and how California had it going there for a while. Certainly the bench got picked up and everybody else on IUP's side when Darius Bruce comes up with his interception, which made the ESPN Sports Center. We're going to run that too. This is an amazing play by a really good young player. Yeah, here it is now with the play fake, and then Mitchell and leaping with one hand and down the sideline. Unfortunately, he stepped out of bounds. But hey, you can't have everything after a catch like that or a play like that.
It was a really athletic play. Later in the game, he almost gets a tip pass that would have been a house call, so to like the players call it, but it just got tipped and kind of change direction. But that's a heck of a play. He's doing exactly what he's coached to do to that point, but then you got to go do what he did, which you can't coach at.
Exactly.
But he got to where he was supposed to get to. He looked at the right time, and he got underneath the comeback in on the sideline. But whatever that was, we don't really coach at.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. Looks like it has to be from the very first game, the secondary, from the first game of the year to now. It took a while for these freshmen who became sophomores to really get it together, but it seems like they are now.
Well, we've got a group of 5 that we're stabilized with. We didn't have Howard at the beginning of the year. We've got Randy Washington in there now. And we've taken our lumps a little bit. We've given up some big passes and big plays. Going into the Cal game, one of our number one keys to the game was don't get beat over the top and keep everything in front of us. We only gave up one pass. It was 33 yards. It was more of a catch, an over route underneath, and he ran. They didn't throw one pass over our heads. So we did a good job keeping everything in front of us.
Questions. Coach, any reason why Adam Hauser didn't play? Injured?
Well, yeah and no. He could have played. But, the other guy got most of the work in practice, Younger.
JD.
Had a good week of practice. And then, I think the second time he carried the ball, he had a great 14-yard run. And just, there's only so many plays in a game. And you got DeJour in there. And then you've got Younger. And then down on the goal line, we've used Parker Gregg a little bit. So there just wasn't, and he hadn't practiced a whole lot. He's still definitely in the plans, but we got to get him 100% and then let him go to work. But right now, Younger's taking that number 2 spot over, and he had a great week of practice. And then right away, his second run of the day, it was a great run. It was a 14-yard run that wasn't blocked great. He made a great move. So that's kind of the direction we went, And then we were throwing the ball a good bit when we got behind. And DeJour's pretty good in pass protection. And Younger's getting better. So that's just kind of how the way it worked out.
Okay. Also, do you consider Mac Sexton a risk taker? And if you do, the players who aren't afraid to also maybe take some risks. But how do you describe that?
If I had to say who he kind of reminds me of, it's Brett Favre. If you see about 3 or 4 of the passes in this game, I don't know a lot of guys in Division II football that can throw to Hauser down the middle of the field. It gets there in a real hurry. The corner route he throws to Dwayne Braun. There's some throws that are just off the charts. And sometimes you got to take some chances. He probably only had 2 misreads. And the one was a 4th down interception. And if he had to do it all over again, he would have got off of what he saw into the boundary and worked to the field because we had a guy running down the middle of the field open. But, it's, I'll tell you one thing he did. He avoided the rush a couple times where he didn't have to get out, okay? He needed to stay in. But there's 4 or 5 plays where they're in his face. They're ready to sack him, and he avoids one way or the other, and then he throws the ball. The 3rd and 12 play to Dwayne Braun to dig it, we make a 1st down on. I'd say 80% of the quarterbacks that I've been around would have got sacked. He has a really good presence. He's not like a Lenny Williams flash and dash, but he does a great job of moving in and out. And then the one play he made a great play of, he stepped up on the pocket, and he almost crossed the line of scrimmage, and it was 4th down, and he went to throw it to DeJour, and it would have went big, but their guy came out of nowhere and tipped it. If he would have ran it, he wouldn't have made the 1st down. So they made a really good play on that. But, I'm not trading the guy for anybody.
Well, obviously he's been in a big-time program at Pittsburgh State, and we've talked about his background, and he's showing that. He sure is fun to watch. How to avoid a letdown after 2 big wins over rivals. do you mention last year's Edinboro game? For one thing, that was your last loss.
Right.
7 wins, 2 last year, 5 now.
Well, we didn't say one word about the Cal game to our team last week because it really has nothing to do with anything. There's a lot of guys playing in these games that didn't play in that game. Just like this week, we're not going to say one word about what happened with Edinboro last year because we got a lot of guys playing that didn't play in that game. So, and it doesn't do you any good, do you? I mean, that means nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, we got a team we're playing this Saturday. They, you know, like some guys say, nameless. You're playing a nameless team, faces that you don't. It's whoever it is. I mean, it just happens to be Edinboro this week, and I go back to saying, hey. You know, and I revert back to the 17 team a lot, and sometimes our team gets, like, tired of it. They did a great job about worrying just about the next game. Like in our meeting today, we talked about, let's worry about our practice today. And tomorrow, we'll worry about tomorrow's practice. And then come Saturday, we'll worry about who we're playing and where we're at that day. We're going to wake up in the hotel, no matter where we're at, and we're going to go play a noon game, which we love to do. We love noon games. We've got a great track record in 12 o'clock games. And it is who it is.
And be prepared for any kind of weather, and maybe all of it.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about that.
No.
Home, away, weather. It's about how we play, because we really can't control how our opponent's going to play. And we can't control how they're going to prepare. So we got to do the best job at preparing our team and putting our best game on the field that Saturday. And whatever the other team does, we can't control it.
You know, I looked here and I wrote down offensive line. They have been so solid. We knew they were going to be good. And fortunately, staying away from injuries, they're veteran. They, you know, Cal came into the game with, 20 sacks, like 4 a game or whatever. They keep Mac pretty clean back there.
Yeah, it took once. He got hit twice. One time he got the ball off and got hit pretty good. And then another time he got sacked. But you got to understand, there's a lot of pass plays where they're bringing 6 guys, and we're picking it up. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he gets the ball out very quick. So he is a gem for an offensive line to protect. He doesn't hold the ball very long. And, again, I think our offensive line's tremendous. I wouldn't trade any one of those guys for anybody else in the league.
Well, they have great chemistry because they've known each other. They've been around.
Right.
And you can't ask for more than that.
And you know, he's my buddy, but they're the best coach offensive line in Division II football. I'm going to tell you that right now.
No, we're talking about Coach Camp, Mike Campolo, and hey, why not? I mean, he's did a tremendous.
I mean, they were running blitzes. They were running crazy blitzes on Saturday. They ran one early in the game, and we hit the screen for 25 yards on 3rd and 15. They had them coming from everywhere. They were running into each other. And they had nobody covering the back, or they had nobody in coverage, really. Everybody else was 20 yards down the field, and the other 6 guys were blitzing like crazy, and they were running into each other, and there was nobody on one side, and we're picking this all up. And, you know, that's a lot easier said than done because they're coming from everywhere.
Yeah. Well, they've been like that over the years.
Oh, yeah, that's their defense.
Now, Edinboro, do they go with 3 down also?
They do. They play a bunch of different things. They play 3 down. They play 4 down. They do a lot of different things, and we'll have to be ready for whatever they throw at us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They, of course, with Coach Jake Nelp up there from Apollo Ridge, was with your program briefly, and you know, he's done a heck of a good job.
Yeah, he's done a great job there. Great job. I mean, they were really down when he took that job over, and then. You know, his first year was COVID. And actually, in a roundabout way, it probably was the best thing for him because then they got another year to get ready to play, and they had the same players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. With some of the players that I have some other questions here that let me take this one first, Coach. This year's home schedule isn't very fan-friendly. 1 September home game, and then the 3 games at home in late October, November. Mm-hmm. Does the university athletic department have any influence on available home dates, or is it strictly PSAC?
It's strictly the PSAC.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
You know.
And then, of course, starting next year, you have a 4-year commitment,
Right,
home
with
and away
Ashland.
with Ashland. Starting,
It's amazing. I've had 5 teams call me already for an opener next year. And we couldn't find one for 2 years. Now we got one for 4 years, and I got everybody calling me for an
why
opener.
is that? That's strange.
I really
huh?
don't have the answer for you.
Wow. Well, Ashland, and of course, they're undefeated right now.
But here's the thing. You know, if you look at the top 25, there are 8 teams in the top 25 that are only playing 10 games, like us. Ashland, West Florida, West Georgia, Indianapolis. I can't name them all, but counting us, there are 8 teams in the top 25 that are only playing
I didn't
10
realize
games.
that.
So that's not the be-all, end-all to play that 11th game. It really isn't.
No, the key is to play games.
You got to win the ones you play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Ashland thing will be great for
Yeah,
the
it's
next
great.
4
Yep.
years. But
And they wanted it. I mean, they only played 10 games this year, too.
yeah, that surprises me. Al King is the athletic
It's
director
not
there.
easy to get games. It's not easy to get games.
Well, and then too, there are teams like Missouri wanted you to go there.
Right. Grand Valley's another team that only plays 10 games. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one we already answered. The win at California, how does it feel?
Well, I heard a Power 5 coach Saturday night say something that kind of hit home. We're just looking for that mark in the left column.
Good way to put
Because
it.
at the end of the day, they don't draw pictures. You don't get more points depending on how you win the game. You just got to do whatever it takes to win. Like I tell our coaches, we can win 45-42. Now, as a defensive guy, I'm not really into track meets. Or we could win 10-7. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Here's something, too, that I noticed down there, but somebody brought it up. There was a noticeable difference in the IUP band. You probably, well, you have already told me you have noticed. Saturday at Cal, though, they made it feel, they say here, like a home game. Because I kind of got that feeling. They made it feel like, how can I put it? They didn't have the enthusiasm, their band, the way I thought our band did with getting our guys on every play, even in intense situations.
Right.
Now, they listed the attendance as 4,300. I only see one side. I didn't see 4,300 people. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but, all I can talk about is our band, and they've been great. Like, other than that, I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I knew the Cal's band was there, and I knew our band wasn't. But all I could say is our band's been great.
Well, I think I heard the term football band.
Correct.
Okay, we like that. All right, we're going to be back with more, and we're going to talk with one of the standouts of the IUP football team as the team continues on its way 5-0 now after the win at Cal. Edinboro up next. By the way, keep in mind, if you're headed to Edinboro, that's a shorter trip than it ever was. Noon kickoff will be on the air at 11:30. We'll be back with Hawk Talk live from the Hilton Garden Inn, coming your way on U92radio.com and on the U92 Facebook page.
At IRMC, we have all of the necessary pieces in place to perform complex operations, including highly skilled and specially trained surgeons, their support team of experts, and advanced technology like the Da Vinci robotic surgical system. As a result, patients spend less time in the hospital, recover faster, and get treated close to home. So there's no reason to puzzle over where you should get your surgical care. The answer is right here at IRMC.
The Co-op store has the largest selection of IUP gifts and apparel. The Co-op is always there with its convenient location and hours. The Co-op store has been serving IUP and the Indiana community since 1933, and all profits are returned to the students through campus programs and activities. The Co-op has all your campus needs from the dorm to the classroom. Visit us online at www.iupstore.com.
There you go. We even have Mike Lang on this show. Not bad. He's not even working anymore, so that's good. I mean, it's not good that he's not working. Hey, we're back with you in Hawk Talk. Coach Paul Tortorella and Hilton Ridley is with us right now, as a guest here on Hawk Talk. I got to ask you, first of all, we're at the Hilton Garden Inn, and you're Hilton. Do you own this place?
No, I do not.
Okay. Hilton, good to have you with us, and join us. I got to ask you, like I asked Coach a little while ago, how about the feeling after that game and coming away with a win at Cal? That'd be pretty special, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was very special. I mean, came out to kind of a slow start, but fourth quarter was very crucial for us, and we came away with the win, and we needed that one. So
you're getting into the picture a little bit more and more when Derek Lockhart went down, unfortunately. Do you guys, as receivers, did you kind of get together and say, listen, we lost one of our guys over here. We got to all step up a little bit?
Yeah, we did. I mean, we needed him. He was a crucial part of the offense. Would have been throughout the entire season. Losing him was very hard, and when that injury happened, when halftime came around, we got together and we just looked at each other and said that there's going to be some people that need to step up. And
the other thing that made it good on Saturday, in addition to the win and your performance, which was terrific, you had 8 catches for 161 yards. You got the MVP award, the Coal Bowl award. I put you on a list. You probably didn't even know they had an award, did you?
I did. My freshman year, JoJo, I'm pretty sure, won it when we beat them. So he texted me after the game, and so that was cool.
JoJo Goss.
You're right.
Oh, that's great. Now, and that was 2019, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's something that shows from one receiver down to another.
Absolutely.
One. Yeah, and he's playing somewhere. I think,
yeah,
right?
He was in the Arena League for a while there, and
yeah,
I think he's still fooling around trying to keep playing.
Okay. Hilton, you are from the Lancaster area.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your high school career and how it came about that IUP recruited you.
Yeah, Lancaster area, went to Manhattan Township. High school football was everything for me. High school was very fun for me, and because of football. And once the recruiting process came along, had a couple schools contact me, but and IUP was one of them, and I took a visit here and fell in love.
We don't have to name them, but were they in the eastern part of the state? Or, in other words, some players like to stay home and play in their home area, region. Yeah. Others like to go away from home.
Some were eastern, some were western.
Oh, a little bit of each. You've got 25 receptions on the year right now, 413 yards, and averaging 16 and a half a catch, 4 touchdowns. We have one of your catches here that we're going to run for you. I think John's going to run it. This one's got us to the 1-yard line. I think it was here we go, ground level. And there you go. And you almost made it in. But that's good enough. Because, there were some key situations where you came up with receptions. And how much fun was it playing in that game?
Super fun. I mean, this is my first year kind of being able to play a whole lot of minutes and be a vital part to the team. So for me to go out there and play like I did and play like the team did, it was special.
Now, there's got to be an advantage for not only you, but Q Carter and even maybe for Grant Smith as a tight end, but the fact that they're going to double team Dwayne no matter where he goes. And I think from now on, defenses might have to change their minds a little bit. What do you think?
I mean, Deebner, we all know how special he is. He can go out there and make plays day in and day out. I feel like I'm a pretty good receiver as well. I go out there and make plays, but I can't do it without the quarterback, and the quarterback can't do it without the line. So it's all a team effort.
Coach, what was the game plan going in, knowing, I mean, you're going to know that every game, that they're going to, wherever Dwayne goes, he's going to draw a crowd?
Well, we're very comfortable with really our 4 wideouts. Obviously Hilton, Q Carter, and now I keep saying Little Hauser. I got to stop saying that. Isaiah Hauser. And then obviously Dwayne. We feel really good. And we've got a couple other guys that are not quite ready yet, but those 4 are really good players. So we're going to take what the defense gives us. A lot of times these guys are making catches one-on-one, and the coverage is not terrible. But our guys combat catches, we call them. This guy and Dwayne are really good at those kind of catches.
And you're getting yards after catch.
Absolutely. Well, one of the biggest plays of the game was we were down 14-3 after we did stop, and we had the ball on our own 13-yard line. And the first play, Mac scrambled and avoided pressure. They were in zone. He hit Hilton, who worked back to the quarterback on kind of a scramble throw, and it ended up being a 40-yard game. It was like a 12-yard pass. But there was nobody around him. He caught it and ran 30 yards after the catch. That's kind of what got us started right there.
You had mentioned, I think, to one of the writers after the game that the win over Cal was revenge. So I don't know if that's used a lot or whatever. Now, Edinboro's coming up. We know what happened last year. Coach said, we go game to game. You forget, you block that out, and you get ready. You guys got to be in the right frame of mind to go out, and we're going to get a challenge every game, right?
Yeah, Coach taught to us today, and we know what we need to do come Saturday. It starts with a good practice today and tomorrow especially, and throughout the week. So as long as we do that, we carried it on to Saturday, we'll be just fine.
This is a type of game where at Edinboro, where we said before, where we get maybe rain, snow, sun, this and that,
whatever. A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. So you take all your gear and you just go up and play against a team that's got to be hungry.
Yeah, I mean, they're 3-3. They've lost to Cal, who's a really good team, Shepherd, who's undefeated, and I'm
trying to think of the other team.
Gannon, who's only got one loss.
Yeah.
So, they've lost to some real good teams. And they're playing at home. Hopefully it's early enough in the season and the year that we won't get any bad weather. But as you know, we've seen it all up there. So we'll just, play the cards we're dealt and just get ready to go play.
Hilton, what's your major at IUP?
Sports administration.
Okay. So you're looking down the line. You never know what's going to happen here in a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
You like it here, obviously, and I guess even beyond football, it seems like to me, being around the guys in the practice and so on, that there's a kind of a chemistry of some sort among the players. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah.
Everybody tries to help out the other guy?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Some of the guys that back you up, too, are at the wide receiver spot are pretty important, too. Dan Deebner and so on. Maybe talk about some of the other players in your position as a wide receiver.
Yeah, so he brought up Isaiah Hauser. He's been phenomenal. He's one of the younger guys on the team. He's been playing very well. Dan Deebner, he's been phenomenal as well. He came in freshman. He played pretty well. And this year he's starting to step up. Nolan Labuda, he's also a vital part. Everybody's been doing pretty well.
Yeah, and then you had Cole Laney came up with a
big catch on the backside. Yep.
I got to ask you about the one play with him going over the middle, and they grabbed his jersey, never called it or something? I think.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good answer, I'd say. Well, I would think there's a lot of excitement among the team at this position, but it doesn't take much to get knocked off a top spot. Going into this game against Edinboro, just totally your thought process.
Just to go 1-0. I mean, it's another game on the schedule. It's another week. It's another opportunity to get better. And if we can go 1-0, that's all we really want to do. So
talk about your wide receiver coach.
I like him.
Coach Bryce.
Yeah, Coach Bryce. He's cool. I like him. Coaches very well. When we're in meetings, he tells us how it is, and we have to have tough skin about it. And if there's mistakes, we get them corrected. So he's cool.
Coach Tortorella says he never stops. He just always like the Energizer buddy.
Yeah, he's always going.
He's the same way on game day. He's on that sideline again. I watch, and sometimes I get tired just watching him on the sideline on game day even. But he's done a great job with these guys, because you got different personalities and so forth. But the thing, like what Hilton was saying, when you're the head coach, you kind of have time to really see some things that position coaches don't, because they're so involved in their position. And one thing I see with this team is they really like being around each other. and that's important. That's not always a given, believe me. And this team thoroughly enjoys being around each other, whether you're offense, defense, or special teams. And I think that culture is part of the intangibles that we talk about.
Hilton, with the guys who transferred from Cal that are now at IUP, with Derek Lockhart and Naz Taylor and even Ian Anderson, who's kicking off, kicks off now. Could you feel, and with Coach Wilson, of course, who was there, could you feel when you got to Cal maybe the emotion that they had too, that kind of rubbed off on the players?
Yeah, 100%, especially Derek. I mean, him playing there for however long he was there, being a very good player for them, coming back home was special and very emotional for him, and he showed it on the sideline, and he was a ball of energy that we needed on the sideline. So.
Pretty exciting time. Well, we want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Keep it going. Your stats are great, but even beyond that, I think the mental aspect of the game that you bring to this team helps out in the long run, and we're seeing that from a lot of these players, aren't we?
Yeah, that's the thing. People think you just go to wide out and you run the route they tell you to run. It doesn't work like that. You got to make conversions. You got to read coverages. There's a lot more that goes into it, and these guys have done a great job with that. And
you're going against the secondary in practice that's starting to come along now, and most of them were starters last year.
Yes.
So, do you have good rapport with those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. There's good competition between them. There's nothing personal. That's another thing you say. They like being around each other. They like competing against each other, but they know their teammates.
Well, I watch you in practice. You guys going at it pretty good there with Coach Patina and Coach Smith and everybody, huh? Hilton, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it a lot. Good luck. We'll be watching you coming up this week.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to be back with more. Have the final portion of Hawk Talk coming up. And want to thank Hilton Ridley with us. Coach Tortorella and I will be back. And we'll return on U92Radio.com and the U92 Facebook page.
C.H. Field's Craft Kitchen in the Hilton Garden Inn is this area's best-kept secret. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, dinner, happy hour, or for their post-game specials. Make your reservations for C.H. Field's Craft Kitchen in the Hilton Garden Inn at chfields.com. The Hilton Garden Inn is the preferred hotel of IUP Athletics. Located next to Miller Stadium and the KCAC, the Hilton Garden Inn is Indiana's newest and best hotel. Make your reservations today at hiltongardeninn.com.
Come join us in celebrating our grandfather Red Dowd's induction into the Indiana County Business Hall of Fame.
To celebrate, we can't think of anything better than to combine two of Dowd's most popular sales.
To honor his legacy and celebrate our 72nd anniversary, we're offering up to 72% off selected floor sample clearance items. Plus, save on all custom orders with every other item up to 1/2 off.
Come celebrate with us, Dowd's of Plumville and Dowd's of Greensburg.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Hawk Talk coming from the C.H. Fields Craft Kitchen. We're at the Hilton Garden Inn. Jack Benedict here with Coach Paul Tortorella. Thanks again to Hilton Ridley, who will be in action along with his teammates for a noon kickoff at Edinboro, and that'll be on Saturday. We'll be on there at 11:30 with the pregame show. Edinboro is 3-3, as Coach mentioned. They're 1-2 in the league. I was really surprised, even though they've won 3 games, they're only averaging 13 points a game. Now, the other thing that really kind of brought to my attention, looking at their roster, 3 seniors and 2 grad students, that's all. I mean,
right.
That's how young they are.
Yep, they're very similar to Shippensburg in that way. And they had that carryover from COVID and so forth, and those guys were all, like last year, they had a lot of 5th and 6th year seniors. So this is probably a year where, just like Shippensburg, not a lot of seniors, but they still have players that have played a lot that are younger guys. And, they do a very good job. They're very well coached. The quarterback's only a sophomore. He had a good game against us last year. The running back, Anthony Williams, has got some pedigree. They're real young in the offensive line. They've got a couple good receivers. Defensively, they play really hard. They're very aggressive. Cunningham, the linebacker, I think is like one of the top. I mean, he might be the leading tackler in all Division II football, from what I understand. And when you watch the film, you see why. The guy makes just about every tackle. And they have some players in the secondary that have played and they're experienced. So, and they'll be great on special teams. You know, Jake's a big special teams guy.
Yeah.
So it'll be a game where we'll have to play our best to win.
I know with Jake Knoll being briefly at IUP, he's like one of those young men that just loves to coach.
Yeah, he's a great coach. You know, like I said, went there in a very tough situation and kind of has, done a really good job. I think they won 4 games in a row at the end of the year last year. They're 3-3 this year. I think they'll definitely have a winning record before it's all said and done this year. I mean, the 3 teams they lost to are 3 really good teams, like I said. So, we're going to have to play well to win on the road.
We mentioned about his involvement, Jake's involvement with special teams. Thaddeus Stanfield, he's a sophomore, I think, a wideout, but he's also a special teams player. Pretty good return man, right?
Right, yeah, they do a great job on special teams. They use good people on special teams, too. See, some teams don't use some of their best players on special teams. Edinboro does, and because they put a lot of faith in it, and they're trying to create an edge in the kicking game, so they're using their best players on special teams, which I believe in also.
Bring us up to date on the injury situation at IUP.
I think we're in pretty good shape. We had some bumps and bruises from the game Saturday. Unless some things come up this week in practice, I think we should have everybody ready to go Saturday that we had last Saturday.
There, I think, was some question about whether Tyrone Fowler could get a medical red shirt. Is that possible?
It's something that we'll have to look at here. There's no real hurry in doing it. The thing that you got to remember is he's already been here 5 semesters. So if he wants to go that route, we're more than happy to go that route. But, he's already been, with the COVID year and so forth. But, we'll have to see. That rule's so different. It happened in the 4th game. I don't know. We'll try to see if we can petition for it. But right now, I can't say one way or the other.
How did the guys grade that replaced him?
Well, I made a statement today to the staff. I thought our defensive line played their best game of the year. They gave Mitchell all kind of fits. They didn't run the ball on us. They got him off the spot. They had 3 sacks. They had 7 hurries. But there are 3 plays in the game where they got guys running wide open, and our pass rush didn't allow it. He had to get out of the pocket. I mean, guys are open, and the pass rush saved us a couple times. So I thought Mitchell inside and Moore, and even Terrell Williams came in there and gave us a sack and played pretty good. Mayer, Fizel,
Vaughn Wallace.
And Vaughn Wallace played. Noah Vaughn played. So we've got, some depth there. We miss Fowler now, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's our, rookie of the year from last year, and he's a really good player. But, Fizel, Mayer, Wallace, Vaughn, those guys got to, they got to pick it up.
Your 2 linebackers, Connor Kelly, Drew D'Annunzio, Biss, are all over the place.
Right. And we played Sims some, who's played well when he was in there. So we're looking to get him a little bit more in the mix also.
Yeah, Montel Sims.
Yep.
Last year he was out with ACL?
ACL.
Yeah. And I know he was a highly touted player coming out of high school. Well, it seems that, things are coming together. What would concern you at this point after 5 games?
Well, I think you just got to stay the course. Like, you can't let up. You just can't. You got to watch. You can't over-practice. You got to have them fresh and ready to play. But focus-wise, and we can't let up. And it's about the next game, staying the course, getting back to fundamentals, taking care of the little things. not worrying about what's in front of you, not worrying about what's behind you. Let's just worry about this week.
Monday, today, when we're doing this, did you practice at all or not? Did a walk through?
We had our normal Monday.
Okay.
We ran them. We had our walk through, corrected mistakes from Saturday and started our prep for Edinboro. So, we need to have a good week of practice. We need, I think after the game and today's meeting, we talked to the team about taking our game to another level, maximizing, our potential and, maximizing our opportunities on offense and playing with more consistency on defense.
Mm-hmm. The fact is the conference itself, or look within the division.
Right.
Any surprise to you this year?
Well, I knew Gannon would be very good because they had a lot of guys back, and that new coach has done a really good job. Quarterback's a good player. They've got a lot of good players back that have played a lot of football for them.
They play
so
Slippery Rock this week.
That'll be an interesting game. California's they're a really good team. I mean, they very easily could be 6-0, 7-0, or whatever it is, because they very easily could be 6-0. They lost to us. They lost to Shepherd, and they lost to Kutztown. I don't know if you put those three teams together. I think there's only 2 losses. So they have our schedule from last year, unfortunately for them, and they had to play the 2 best teams in the East on the road. We at least got to play them at home. And sometimes those games can catch up with you when you get into the league schedule. So they're a really good team. I seen Shippensburg had a big win and beat Westchester. So, some of the teams that we've played, I think, Mercyhurst played Slippery Rock tough. That game was a close game. So I think, we're playing the schedule that we have. Edinboro's next. They're very formidable. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand, and we tell our players this and the older players understand it, at the end of the day, we get every team's best shot. Okay, so we'll watch film of teams, and sometimes I'll say that team you're watching on film will not be the team you see Saturday. And our older guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Our younger guys are probably thinking, what's he talking about? Mm-hmm. But we're going to get everybody's best shot.
Well, we've seen that, and we're going to see that. I wanted to bring up a couple of things. We don't talk about national polls and all that. It varies, and there's so many different ones. Mm-hmm. But I did see where Kurt Signetti's JMU, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've moved into the top 25.
Yeah. That's an interesting dynamic. They play Georgia Southern this weekend, JMU, and my son's down in Statesboro playing baseball.
Yeah.
He's going to go to the game.
Oh, man.
So I texted back and forth with Mike Shanahan. He's looking forward to going over and seeing those guys and going to the game. Georgia Southern's a good team, so that'll be a tough game, and JMU's playing great, so that'll be a good game. He's really looking forward to it.
I would think so. Yeah, Mike, of course, was here briefly.
Sure.
But got a chance to broadcast basketball with his father way back when. The other thing that I thought about talking about, and I had it in my mind at the end of the game Saturday, would have been the 85th birthday of Coach Frank Signetti Sr. I got so involved in the way the game ended, I forgot to mention it. But when I think back, his last game was that loss to Cal.
Right.
So I thought, this is one for Coach, for big guy. That would have been his 200th. So we'll give it to him, all right?
Well, he may have played a part in that last 7 seconds.
Oh, how about that?
It was kind of like karma, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But, at the end of the day, there's a lot of different ways to win and lose games. And you just got to play it till the end and play 60 minutes and hope that you come out on top, and we were very fortunate to win the game.
Yeah. One other thing, Tort, before we leave a couple of minutes here, somebody had mentioned about the schedule, and you said, well, PSAC takes care of all that. How about the officials? How do they, who's assigned? Where do
they get assigned? For some reason, usually on Monday I get the crew that we have for this Saturday. checked my phone there, and I haven't gotten the email. You get different officials. Like the crew we had Saturday, we had against Shippensburg. I think that's the first crew we've had twice. So you get different crews every week. Like I said, by tomorrow I'll know who the crew is for this week. And after the game's over, on Sunday, and we send it in on Monday, we basically evaluate the crew, and it's not an easy job. It's probably, and my younger brother is a basketball official. Now he's officiating football. He's a baseball umpire. It's like one of them jobs, like, unless you screw up, nobody ever even talks about you. Like, they don't tell you how great of a job you did.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And, so, I mean, it's a tough job. It really is. And my blanket statement on it is this. You got to get the last couple of minutes of the game right, because you can't recover from that. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is call the obvious and let some of the ticky-tacky stuff go. And I think we'd all be better off for it, And nobody's asking me my opinion, but I think if you had every coach in the room in the PSAC, all three would say the same thing. Get it right at the end of the game, because there's no turning back. It's over. Call the obvious, and don't call the ticky-tacky stuff.
Are they still having, or are they having problems finding officials as the high schools are?
Yeah, there's a shortage. But, that doesn't mean they can't be good, the ones that are officiating. True. So, like, I get it. There's a shortage. But, we all have a job to do. And officiating, like I said, it's not a glamorous job. Like, I've been doing this a long time, and every once in a while I'll say, boy, those officials were great, on a Monday. Mm-hmm. But you don't say that a lot, and that's unfortunate for them, because it's hard. There was 187 plays in that game Saturday.
Oh, my, yes.
When you throw kicking game, offense, defense, and if you think that they're going to get every call correct, well, I look at it this way, in Power 5, sometimes there's 20 to 30 instant replay reviews. So at that level, you can screw up, and it doesn't matter, because they're going to review it and they'll get it right.
They get a lot of those right.
And our guys don't have the luxury of instant replay review. So that there's way more pressure officiating a Division II football game than there is a Division I game, because all the Division I games have instant replay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, that's unfortunate. That makes it tough.
One other final question here. What happens with the trophy of the Coal Bowl? Where does it go? Where is it?
First of all, it's pretty heavy. Okay.
Well, you lifted that pretty good.
Well, it's pretty heavy. Second of all, it was on my desk, and then it was in another part of my office, but they're going to put it in a trophy case for this year, and we'll bring it out next year the week of the game. Okay. All right. Now we know. Right. Well, at the end, I gave it to Todd. He said, I'm not taking it back with me. I said, well, I don't want to leave it here. So they took it on the defensive bus and then put it on my desk in the office. There we go. So we have it, and it's going in the trophy case. It'll be in there tomorrow. Sounds good. I'll look for it. Thanks, Tort. Appreciate it a lot. Good luck this week. Thanks, Jack. That's it for this week. Thanks to Hilton Ridley. Thanks to John Smathers and everybody, as well as our producer back at Renda Broadcasting in Danielle Pisarcik. For Coach Tortorella, Jack Benedict, we thank you a lot. And join us next week, 6 o'clock Monday, Hawk Talk from the Hilton Garden Inn.